Today we learn how to make this badass bottle for our potion of water breathing. Stay tuned. So now we all have a myriad of magic potions for when we go questing, but if you don't have them in fancy theme specific bottles, I mean, what are you new? Do you even adventure, bro? What's up? To that end, I just mastered my own recipe for my potion of water breathing and needed a fancy bottle in which to house it. Here's how I made it. I started off with this cool potion bottle that I got from the craft store. Now my 8-legged friend here is completely made out of Super Sculpy modeling clay. I love this stuff. It's super easy to work with. It's soft, but it's firm enough to take detail. I highly recommend using it. Not only that, but you can bake it to make it hard afterwards. Now I began by breaking off some of that Super Sculpy and rolling them into what will end up being my legs. Now this isn't a giant bottle and there are 8 of them, so I wanted those legs to be pretty thin going into it. So once I thought I had enough of those legs rolled up, I wanted to change gears and start making the membrane. Now if you look at an octopus, kind of where its legs connect to its body, it has this thin membrane that connects all of them together. So to get that look, I just ripped off a piece and used the bottle itself to flatten it. Then I just stuck it to the bottle right where I thought the body was gonna sit. With that all set, I started applying the legs really just kind of wherever I thought looked cool. Now, like the path you choose to bring the legs around and whatever, completely creative freedom there. The only thing that I do recommend is that you start with the legs beginning right kind of in the middle of your membrane area, right? So it's coming from your body. All right, so with that all laid out, it was time to start positioning this kind of head area here. To make that, I just rolled a chunk of it until it formed this kind of lazy teardrop shape. Now, before I placed it onto the little membrane area, I actually peeled all the little legs back. You're gonna see as we go forward, but I just kind of want those legs to look like they're actually part of that whole head body. It's an octopus. What is head and what is body? You'll see as we go. Just peel back the legs for now. With those out of the way, I placed that blob O clay into the middle of the membrane. Then I just used some of these wooden modeling tools to start blending the two together. Basically, you still want that separation so you see kind of what the head is and where the membrane is, but still looking like one piece. Once I was satisfied the two looked combined, I started bringing the legs into the mix. Those I started blending back into the body as well. Again, this is all one cohesive piece, so you want to make it look like those legs are coming from the octopus, right? Not just kind of sitting on top of it. Basically, just go for a nice smooth transition from the head body thing. Cool, now to clean up this whole look, I went ahead and cut little arches out of the membrane between the legs. This gave it a really clean, organic look, like a real octopus has. And check that out, you can't tell me that doesn't actually look like an octopus. That came out really good. So with that whole body, head, leg thing looking really clean, I wanted to have these really big kind of alien eyes that were staring at you as you drank its potion. And doing this was really easy. I just used a rounded clay modeling tool and pushed them into the head to form some eye sockets. Then I rolled little balls of clay and pushed them into said sockets to form these big round eyes. And at this point, this thing is looking super cool. This is like the second or third time I think I've ever used modeling clay, and I'm always surprised at how easy it actually is to work with. All right, so ridiculously happy with that. It was time to bake this to harden into place. Now, the cool thing about Super Sculpy is it only needs to be baked at 275 degrees for about 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of clay. So for this bad boy, I let it bake for about a half an hour. And when it came out, it was solid and stuck in place and just awesome. I really like how this is coming out. Now, another cool thing about Super Sculpy is once it's hardened, it is sandable. I took a lot of time with this one to make sure it was already smooth, but even still, I went back over it with a little bit of sandpaper just to hit any areas that looked kind of rough. And with that all smoothed out, it was ready for some paint. I started by using a black metallic paint for the base color. This I just used a fine brush and tried to get the coat as smooth as possible. It is, after all, an octopus. Get that smooth, rubbery skin. And yet another nice thing about Sculpy is it really accepts paint well. It doesn't take much paint to get really solid coverage. Now, the astute of you out there might notice that I left the border of kind of the membrane and the tentacles unpainted. This is because I noticed that if you look from the inside, you're obviously going to be able to see the unpainted clay. So I decided to make that look like it was part of the octopus, right? Like the underside of it was lighter. So to make that transition easier and kind of make it fade out to that lighter color at the end of the membrane, I just used a brush that was mostly dry and lightly dabbed right along the border of where the color ended. This gave me a really nice transition from the black all the way over to the pink. Now, Super Sculpy is what's called a polymer clay, and they come in a whole bunch of different colors. So if you didn't want to have to do anything like that, you could get the clay for the color that you're looking for. This is just what I had, so this is what I did. Next, I wanted this to kind of be a shimmery purple color. So I busted out this purple metallic paint and just started really lightly dry brushing it on. I like the look of that purple, just kind of dry brush into place because you still get the depth from the black that's underneath, and just when you shine it right into the light, you really see those purple highlights come up. Just adds a lot more interest and depth to the whole thing. Finally, I busted out some of this metallic cobalt blue and painted in the eyes. And there you have it, one sexy potion of water breathing for your next underwater mission. Now, I hope you liked this build. If you did, why don't you show me some of that thumbs up love, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when I release new content. In the meantime, though, happy adventuring, and as always, keep leveling up, you.